Welcome to the Milsurp Mike channel. Every year in the Kansas City area, there's two main shows that I look forward to going to. Of course, the first one's in July. It's the Missouri Valley Arms Collectors Association show. That is a huge show that fills out KCI. All guns, no crap, no Cincy boosts, no Scientologists, no jerky, it's all guns and mostly old guns. And that's one that I always like to have, plenty of money saved up for. If I have some redundancy in my collection, I always try to sell that beforehand. So I have plenty of cash to go to that show, and I always do a show and tell of that every year. The other show that I look forward to every year, it's a much smaller one. It's in Leavenworth, the Leavenworth Overlooked Military Collector Show. At most, there's 200 tables there, somewhere between 50 and 200 tables. And it actually did grow a little bit this year. It had to spill over into a second building. One reason I love that show is, it's kind of a more local feel. A lot of the people you see in there, you know. It seems like there's a lot of times, like, 2, 3, 5 year ago price. One last reason I love that show is it was kind of the first really good show after everything closed down from COVID. It was nice to see everybody again. I had a couple really good finds. I had a really good find last year also. So I always look forward to that show almost as much as the Missouri Valley show. One good thing about this year is, the way my days off were, I was actually able to get in at the very beginning on Friday night, and I was also able to get in almost before it closed. If you ever watch Milsurp World, Danny, he always gives the advice to make sure you get into gun shows right when the door opens so you can get in there and, buy any good stuff before it gets bought up. Me, I've always been a proponent of, you want to hit a gun show late on the last day as well. Easiest time to talk somebody down. They don't want to pack stuff out. If you have hard green cash in your hand, they're more likely to take it than the previous day where they turn you down when you try to talk them down. So I was actually able to do both. The show opened up at 4 o'clock on Friday afternoon. I was actually there, I think, at 3:45. Doors were open, so I was able to walk through and check everything out. First thing I spotted that I knew that I was going to come back to was this Norwegian converted K98K Mauser. There was actually 2 of these at that show. The other table was actually asking twice as much as what I got this one for. The guy at that table, he had a couple other Mausers there that I would have been interested in if the prices were decent, but really high on them. The funny thing is he actually had a Johnson rifle there that was asking $4,000 for it, which that's actually a decent price in today's market, but his Mausers were really high. The guy I got this from, he goes to a lot of the gun shows around here. He has really good prices, and he always has really cool military finds as well. But I was really happy to get this. Right after World War II, Norway had a bunch of K98K Mausers laying around. They needed to rearm, and I believe that their adopted rifle was still the Norwegian Krag Jorgensen. They definitely needed an upgrade. There were 400,000 German soldiers stationed there. Had like 400,000 Mausers sitting around. They chose the 250,000 best one. Most of what they chose were the early ones because early K98Ks are more well made than later ones. 1940, 42. That's the Mauser code, I believe. They plopped their serial number on the receiver. That HHER, I believe, that stands for Army in Norwegian. They plopped their own serial number on there. But they would cross out the German serial number, but they wouldn't paint out the Waffenamps or anything. They would match the serial number up on the bolt handle and on the butt plate right there. Originally they kept it an 8mm Mauser, but the United States was just handing out 30-06 like candy. They would convert these to 30-06 in 1953, 1954. So that's what that 762 stands for. It's not 762 NATO. 762 by 63, I believe, is what the metric is for a 30-06. Book that most Mauser guys have worship by is Ball. Well, Ball kind of dropped the ball on the Norwegian Mausers. He didn't mention anything about 30-06, and he says converted to 762 NATO. At the very end of these rifles' lifespan, there were about 2,000 or 3,000 that were converted to 762 NATO, but they decided to go ahead and adopt the G3 rifle. That's one thing that kind of makes me question the veracity of a Ball now. So when I read in his book now, I'm gonna have to double check everything. But anyway, I was very glad to obtain this rifle. Very good addition to my collection. Like I said, that was my first night one. I also mentioned that I got something at the end of the second day. I saw this the night before, but I thought he was asking too much for it. Of course, I was able to talk him down by $300 on the last day, a Walther PP. Now, this is a very, very late war. Actually, there are no proof marks on this. And what happened was American GIs took over the factory. They would look for souvenirs to, bring back, take home. There's a lot of prisoners who are slave labor in the factory, willing to put these put these guns together for the American GIs in exchange for food and items for survival, basically. And so a lot of them are mismatched. You can see the serial number on the slide and the frame are definitely mismatched. And one cool thing that did come with this, I got the extra magazine, and even though this is a crappy looking holster, this is an authentic holster for that, because it's basically, I don't even know if it's resin impregnated or not, but it's basically like wax over thick paper is all this holster is. And that's what they were using by the end of the war, because it didn't have materials and the ability to make stuff. So, but this is an authentic holster, and I'm told that this is actually worth quite a bit of money in its own right. So anyway, that's my 2 finds from the Leavenworth Show this year. I just thought I'd do a show and tell from it. It's kind of a tradition I've kind of started every year. If you like these and you want to see what I've gotten for some previous shows, click right over there. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a great day.